This is Yin. And these are conversations about how discipline, direction, and identity quietly shape who you become over time. In this space, we think deeply about who we're becoming. If you care about moving through life with intention, you're in the right place. And if you're not there yet, but you want to be, then stay. But if you're looking for shortcuts, noise, or motivation without responsibility, then this isn't the show for you. And that's by design. Now, for those of you who are still here, this is where the work begins. In today's conversation, we're going to discuss identity and how it shapes the choices we make every day. Society teaches us something very specific. It tells us that if we want to change our behavior, we can change who we are. That if we wake up earlier, work harder, stay consistent, and fix our habits, everything else will fall into place. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable, but it's incomplete because behavior doesn't exist in isolation. It comes from something deeper. What we're really told is act different and you'll become different. But in reality, it works the other way around. Who you believe you are determines how you behave. This is why so many people struggle with change. They try to act like someone they have yet to become. They adopt new habits. They follow routines. They commit to goals. But underneath it all, their identity never shifts. And eventually, behavior returns to match it. Not because they failed, not because they lack discipline, but because behavior always follows identity, not the other way around. You see this clearly with things like New Year's resolutions. Every year, people decide they're going to change. New year, new me. They go to the gym. They eat differently. They set rules for themselves. And for a while, it works. But then life gets busy. Motivation fades. And slowly, they drift back. Not because they don't want to change, but because the version of themselves they still identify with pulls them back. Now you're asking yourself, but why? Why does this happen? Well, it's because familiar feels safe, even when it's limiting. That's the part most people don't understand. We don't return to old habits because we want to fail. We return because those habits match who we believe we are. And until that belief changes, behavior will always follow. This is why discipline alone doesn't last. You can force action. You can rely on motivation. You can push yourself for a while. But if your identity stays the same, our behaviors will eventually return. If we don't know who we're becoming, we can't know where we're going. And if we don't know where we're going, any movement feels productive, even when it isn't. You see, your direction in life comes from your identity. That's how people stay busy for years without ever feeling grounded. This is why identity matters so much, because identity becomes the filter. It decides what deserves your energy, what doesn't, what aligns, and what distracts. Without that filter, everything feels urgent. Real change begins somewhere quieter. It begins when you stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, who am I? Now let that sit with you for a little bit. We need to start asking, who are we? Because once identity shifts, behavior doesn't need to be forced. It follows naturally, quietly, consistently. That's why identity dictates behavior, not motivation, not pressure, not willpower. Identity. Who we believe we are decides what we pursue, what we tolerate, and how we move. This is Yin. I want to thank you all for listening. If you ever have any questions or comments, you can message us on our Instagram at Yin Worldwide or visit our website at www.liveyin.com. That's www.liveyin.com. Remember, move with intention.